Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Call to order the Miami Special Utility Authority for Tuesday, March the 5th, 2013 at 6 p.m. Filed in the office of the city clerk and posted in the main lobby in the north outside entryway of the Miami Civic Center at 3:30 p.m. on March the 1st, 2013. The trust may discuss, consider, and vote on any item listed in this agenda. Item 1, we're called to order. 2 is the consent agenda. The following items are on the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are deemed to be non-controversial and routine in nature by the governing board. They will be approved by one motion of the Miami Special Utility Authority. The items on the consent agenda will not be discussed. Any member of the governing board desiring to discuss an item on the consent agenda may request that it be removed from the consent agenda and placed in its proper order on the regular agenda. Any member of the governing board can also move to add items from the regular agenda to the consent agenda and make one motion and vote to approve. Gentlemen, we have items A, B, C, and D. What is your pleasure?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda, Mayor.
Second.
Okay, Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Sharbut?
Aye.
Chairman Ketcher?
Aye. All ayes. Those items have passed. Item 3, public input and unscheduled personal appearance. Each person will be limited to 3 minutes on agenda items only. The purpose of the agenda item is to have an opportunity for citizens' comments on agenda items. Trustees do not engage in discussion under this agenda item, and staff members are directed not to respond to citizens' comments, if any, will occur under the applicable agenda item or may be reserved for further response by phone calls, personal meeting, or posting on the city website. Is there anybody here wanting to have anything to say to the Special Utility Authority? Okay, fine. We'll move to item 4, authorize trust manager to execute contract amendment number 1 with Dewberry Engineers Incorporated for design of a check valve to prevent drainage of the southwest water tower in the event of a break in the water supply line. Chuck Childs and Tyler Klein. Good evening, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. We're asking for a contract amendment to the current contract with Dewberry Engineering for a check valve on the 12-inch water main that runs across 125 Bridge. This will be they're designing the new well right now, and this will be just in addition to their current scope.
And the reason for the amendment is?
This is in addition to their current scope of work that we've had with their first.
Is this to add on a cutoff valve? Or?
Yes, sir, a check valve. So if the new well goes down that we're going to get built, currently the people in the southwest get their water from the clear well, but with the new well, then people in the southwest will be getting water from the well. Well, if something happened with the well, then the check valve we could turn it so that people could get the water from the clear well again.
One of the discussions that between Tyler's office and mine was that originally it was discussed in the context of a change order. It's not a change order. It's an amendment of a professional services contract, increasing the maximum amount to be paid by about $7,000.
Yes, sir.
And that's justified not by a change in the circumstances at the site, but by an expansion of the scope of services to be performed. So in other words, it's not that the price is being raised, we're asking more of them.
I don't have more questions about it.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Trustee Sharbut?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Chairman Ketcher?
Aye. All ayes. Item 4 has been passed. Item 5, authorize chairman's signature for Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality permit water line extension of the 3 2-inch water mains connecting the 12-inch main on the bridge to a point approximately 900 foot down the water line. Chuck and Tyler again.
Yes, sir. When we had about a year and a half ago, when we had the break on the 12-inch main that goes to the southwest, the water department had attached 3 2-inch water mains to bypass the break, and we've kept those hooked up, but they're not currently running. But DEQ has asked for us to make them live, that we get the proper permits and everything. So we worked with engineering to develop everything, the specs and everything that they needed for approval. We just are asking for the signature.
And so, Tyler, we're not using them right now, but you're keeping them live in the event that they're needed prior to the
Yes, sir.
well being?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have no more questions, Mayor. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Sharbit?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Chairman Ketcher?
Aye. All ayes. That has passed also. Item 5. Item 6, other new business, if any, which had arisen since the posting of the agenda and could not have been anticipated prior to the time of posting. 25 OS 311-9. Any new business? Being none, we'll move to item 7, trustee community announcements.
I have none, Mayor.
You have anything, Joe?
No, Mayor.
Being none, we'll move to item 8, staff reports. Gentlemen, you have written reports in your packets, and you have staff people available here if you have questions in that regard.
If it pleases the chairman, I just wanted to comment that the trust purchasing manager is back from his extended vacation. Where is Randy? He was here. Wave your hand, Randy. We
Had a little bit of sun there, huh?
we've missed you.
Okay, no staff reports. Questions? Item 9, recess regular session. Gentlemen, that's because items 11, 12, 13, and 14, that has to be completed by the upcoming meeting by the city council before we can act under the special utility authority. So we'll recess that.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, because you're doing so well on time, and well, maybe you're not. I stand corrected. I apologize. I was thinking it was 6:30, but it's not. 6:15, isn't it?
6:15.
Yeah. Never mind.
Do we have to have a motion to recess, or? I'll make a motion to recess, Mayor.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Sharbit?
Aye.
Chairman Ketcher?
Aye. We are recessed at, looks like 6:08. And agenda. This is getting more fun every day. Filed in the office of the city clerk and posted in the main lobby and the north outside entryway of the Mima Civic Center at 3:30 p.m. on March the 1st, 2013. The council may discuss, consider, and vote on any item listed in this agenda. We are called to order. Tonight we have Pastor David Jackson of the Cardin Baptist Church to say our prayer. So welcome, Pastor. If you would step up to the mic, please. Please remain standing, and then we would do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's bow for a word of prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you so very much for who you are and for the gift of life. And I thank you for these men and women who volunteered their time to serve us, Father, and our community. I pray that you give them wisdom, allow them to see a truth and see through falsity, Father, and allow them to make wise decisions for the benefit of the people. Bless their lives, bless our community, bring them together in unity, and may you be glorified in all things. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Except maybe Dennis Robert.
Item 4, citizens input and unscheduled personal appearances. Anybody wanting to appear before this body tonight? Any unscheduled appearances? Being none, we'll go to item 5, consent agenda. The following items are on the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are deemed to be non-controversial and routine in nature by the governing board. They will be approved by one motion of the Mima City Council. The items on the consent agenda will not be discussed. Any member of the governing board desiring to discuss an item on the consent agenda may request that it be removed from the consent agenda and placed in its proper order on the regular agenda. Any member of the governing board can also move to add items from the regular agenda to the consent agenda and make one motion and vote to approve. Gentlemen, tonight you have items A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J.
If there's no discussion, Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit?
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher?
Aye. All items have been approved. Thank you. Item 6, ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Miami, Oklahoma, increasing the hotel motel excise tax from 4% to 5%. Amanda Davis?
Good evening.
Hi, Amanda.
Well, you guys had before you the Convention and Visitors Bureau, our advisory board, a few months back did vote and make a recommendation to bring that to the city manager to your attention to possibly look at raising our hotel tax from 4% to 5%. This is something that was put in place in 1998. It was passed, went to a vote of the people and was passed for a 5% tax at that time.
Up to
5% is what it was passed to. The CVB board and the city council at that time said we'll start at 4. We will reevaluate it at the end of the fiscal year, the city's fiscal year of the year 2000. And at that time, we'll raise it to 5%. Obviously, now we're in 2013, so it's been 13 years. Obviously, the last few years, we've been up and down a little bit because of the recession, but we are, getting back to where, really probably a little bit ahead of what other communities in the state are. We are one of the only communities that's still at 4%. Most communities are at 5% to 8%. What we're looking to do with the difference, if you look at, I had Jill include some paperwork in your packet that gave you a breakdown of what it looks like on a calendar year. You can see last year, just in the calendar year for 2012, the total receipts was right at almost $4.3 million. It was $4.2 million. That would have produced another $42,000 for us. Some of the needs that we have, and Mayor can allude to this at any time. He's also on my board. We have added 2 sales staff to the CVB, which is working out very well. They're doing a great job. As we start adding more sports to what we're doing right now, we have a need for funding for bid fees. We have a need for funding for recruitment of events when we have these conventions and conferences come in. We have a need for some funding to help assist in recruiting those. Right now, there's a lot of things that we have on the books, and we're in need of that 1%. It could be put to use, and a lot of things that we do obviously is not only an increasing hotel tax, but we're also seeing that on the city sales tax side as well, increases there from our activity. So basically, what you have before you is just a recommendation from the CVB board to look at what they had planned on doing in the year of 2000, but to look at going ahead and going to that full 5% for a hotel motel tax.
Was you had a recent vote of your board, and it was unanimous?
Yeah, all 5 are yes.
David, do you have any concerns on the legality of this?
Mayor, I reviewed it today. I reviewed it last month. I'm satisfied that the ordinance proposed is completely in accord with what the voters approved in 1998.
Further discussion, gentlemen? Have a motion and a second.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit?
Aye.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher?
Aye. All ayes. That has been approved. You got 5% now, Amanda.
Okay, and then as well, I don't know if that's just something that David and I will work out, or do they actually need to go ahead and set a date for when this will go into effect?
By state law, an ordinance goes into effect 30 days after passage, and unless the council specifies a later date. I don't know that an emergency clause was, no.
It was not, staff had decided that probably would be appropriate to give a 30-day notice
30 days.
Yes.
to the vendors, so
April 5th.
If you don't give a specific effective date, the law will simply provide that it will become effective within 30 days from passage. We'll publish within 14 or 15 days of today's date in the newspaper, which will be additional notice on top of what the hotel operators will receive, I'm sure, from Amanda's office.
this will give us some time to reach out to the different vendors in town and let them know.
I don't think it's going to be a surprise to any of them.
No, I've visited with all of them.
They all in agreement with it.
There's some owners from one of them that are a little concerned, but I'm having lunch with him tomorrow, and just to look at our calendar, what we have on the books. He knows there's a lot of business right now, so nobody likes to have that increase, but on average, you're talking maybe 60 or 70 cents more on a bill. So I don't even know that our visitors will even realize that we've went up that 1%. So.
Okay, any further discussion? Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Item 7, authorize the mayor's signature on ordinance providing 2013 early retirement program. Jeff?
Yes, Your Honor, this is an item that follows up on a vote that the council took earlier this year. And tonight we have the actual instruments for your approval on the agenda. There's a series of items that are on your agenda tonight. Tonight in attendance, we have, excuse me, I'm between ailments, and the latest one is kind of involves my nasal passages, so I apologize if I sound kind of different. John Pepperonis is here, special counsel for our retirement-related issues, and we also have, and it's Jody Cox, right? Yeah, Jody Cox from Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund, and I'm going to ask them if they'll come up to the podium and answer any questions that you may have as we go through these. But the first item is for John, and it is an ordinance that provides an early retirement program. And I'm going to let John explain the ordinance, which he has drafted, and also let you know that the retirement committee met earlier today and also authorized the early retirement window.
Right. The proposal is a 2013 early retirement program, and it's composed of two parts. One part relates to the retirement plan that's currently in effect, and the other part relates to retiree medical coverage. But the early retirement program, the first part that applies to the retirement plan, provides that if people in the certain categories of age and service meet certain requirements, then if they elect this early retirement incentive, and there's two alternatives. One is called the plus 5 alternative. That would add up to 5 years to their service, so that they would not realize a reduction in their early retirement benefit by retiring now. The other alternative is if they meet Rule of 80 requirements, meaning their age and their service equals 80 or more, then there would be no early retirement reduction at all. And obviously those are meant to provide an incentive to people so that there wouldn't be a reduction for retiring early under the terms of the retirement plan. So this ordinance amends the retirement plan to allow people that meet those window requirements and who elect these provisions to elect early retirement, and if they qualify, to not have a reduction in their early retirement benefit. The second part of it is that with respect to either the first alternative or the second alternative, those individuals would receive city-paid retiree medical coverage up through the age 65. And as a safeguard, because there's some non-discrimination rules that apply to self-funded medical plans such as the cities, we have a safeguard that if an individual is considered to be highly compensated, and it would be discriminatory towards that person to receive this retiree medical coverage paid by the city, then in lieu of free coverage for the retiree medical, the city would pay that person a cash payment, which is taxable and would be grossed up, so that person could use that to pay their retiree medical premiums on an after-tax basis.
And this is titled 2013 early retirement. There's just a limited time window on this?
That's right. Employees would have to elect by April 5th to whether they're going to participate in this. It's a one-time program, and if they don't elect by April 5th, then the window closes, and it's not available to anyone else after that.
Is the opt-in irreversible?
Yes, it is irreversible.
What was the thinking on the short window, the 30 days? I mean, that's a pretty short time frame to make such an important life decision.
Well, it isn't, and it isn't, Counselor. We've been talking about this since November,
Sure.
and the primary elements of the offer have not really changed. it's taken this long to work out all the details, the ins and outs. In fact, our human resources department's already being told by a number of employees they've already made up their mind. They're doing it first day it's available. But we do need some predictability, and one of the biggest problems and the reason why we have emergency clauses attached to all these is that we're right in the middle of our budget preparation, and we have a published budget calendar, and if we don't get these decisions recorded so that in time that we can calculate what the impact's going to be in the budget, we could be looking at budget amendment after budget amendment after budget amendment at a later date. So the short period is basically for budgeting purposes.
But as you said, it's not as a surprise to anyone.
No. In fact, if you recall, there were a number of television reports that reported it in a lot of different ways around Christmas, so that the city was passing out pink slips for Christmas. So, sorry, I couldn't resist. But no, this is a voluntary early retirement offer.
Yeah, we're not forcing anybody to quit.
Nobody's.
No, I know. I just was thinking about it isn't a very important decision and people having a reasonable amount of time to make that decision. But I do know that these conversations haven't been occurring in private. They've
Right.
been open public conversations. So
And
people
as
have been able
to recall, you
think about it.
council has previously passed another ordinance that with this upcoming budget cycle, there's going to be an FTE cap. And the idea behind that FTE cap is that once we offer this early retirement window and we have employees that take it, we don't turn right around and rehire employees back to backfill those retiree positions. So it truly is designed to be a cost-saving measure for the city, and with the new FTE cap, that will ensure that the council then has the authority to limit whether or not we hire back any employees to replace anyone who takes the early retirement offer.
And you've done some calculations on those few people that may fall into that group where we're going to issue a cash payment basically for their medical.
Yeah, we know which employees would be eligible for the retirement. It's a mathematical calculation, so we're able to identify them. They will be the ones who will receive the formal offer and notification. We are going to set up meetings with representatives from OMRF who will be able to provide financial analysis to the prospective employees who are eligible for the retirement, so they can look at what it means from a financial standpoint for them. This is an added value that we get from switching to OMRF, which is another item later on this agenda, is that we get experts, whereas in the past we've had to rely on our actuary to do some calculations, and it's difficult for us to explain what that means to the employee since we're not in that line of business.
I don't have more questions, Mayor.
Go.
Okay. Do you have a guesstimate how many employees might be interested, or?
No, we did not put on the table what's known as a proffer, to gauge. We've had some informal straw polling, but until we actually make the formal offer, we really won't know.
So we don't know.
We know how many maximum there would be, but we don't know how many actual there will be.
Do we know how many would possibly take cash payout on the insurance side of it?
I would imagine most of them who are not already eligible. There's a few that would not be eligible because they're already at Medicare age if they were to take it. But we can't predispose what their action will be. But you can be rest assured that no matter what action is taken, it all is less than their annual salary, which is the goal here, is to create the budget savings by having the position vacant. So in no way, shape, form, or fashion, we're already paying their health care premium as an employee, and we're paying them an annual salary, and we're paying their retirement, the amount that's allocated towards their retirement each month. So if they take the early retirement, the savings from their salary funds the continuation of these other things. But we're offering that in exchange for them giving up their position and us realizing the cost savings today early than we would have in the future.
You checked the legal work?
I've read it. I defer in great part to Mr. Paparonis' extensive expertise in the field. I'm a generalist, but I certainly do recommend approval. One of the things that, having been here the last few years, that I find interesting and I hope is appreciated is there used to be an impression, I think, amongst people that the city council, that the city manager had this sort of absolute authority over hiring and firing and departments and caps. And that was really never what the charter provided. The charter always provided that the city council could fix departments and the number of employees and so forth. And so this measure, this early retirement option taken ultimately in connection with the FTE cap that you previously passed or something I can heartily approve of.
If there are no further questions, Mayor, I'd make a motion to approve.
I'll second, Mayor.
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit?
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher?
Aye. Item 7 has passed.
We need a emergency clause.
Number 8, emergency clause, if requested on ordinance provided 2013 early retirement program. Jeff?
Yes, Your Honor, staff is requesting emergency clause tonight, and because there is only 4 of you tonight, it does require unanimous vote.
Motion to approve.
If I may first, it's necessary under state statutory law that in moving for an emergency clause, that the circumstances which justify the emergency implementation and effectiveness be articulated as part of your motion. It's my understanding that under these circumstances, as Mr. Bishop previously described, the emergency would be something along the lines of the timing issues involved and the budgetary calendar require that action be taken now.
I make a motion to approve emergency clause based on the time and the action needed.
And I will second that.
Councilman Sharbit?
Aye.
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher?
Aye. Item 8 has passed. Item 9, authorize mayor's signature on ordinance amending city retirement system and the joinder agreement, Exhibit A. Jeff?
Okay, now this is Ms. Cox's element here. So this particular ordinance, again, is the actual instrument authorizing a previously authorized action by the council to move the city's retirement system to the Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund. This gets the city out of the pension business, removes the personal liability from our trustees for the management of that fund, and places it with professionals who operate a very successful fund statewide. It also provides us with the opportunity now that we get some portability, so that when we have openings for certain positions in the future, if they happen to be with a city that is currently in OMRF, they get an added benefit. I shouldn't say an added benefit. They don't. They get the benefit of having some additional contributions to their retirement in that plan. And just as a little overview from Ms. Cox, who's here tonight to answer your questions, but if she could basically introduce herself and her fund, and
Sure.
and this discussion's been going on for many years. So
Years. I'm honored to be here tonight. My name is Jody Cox. I work with the Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund. I have been with the fund for 17 years. I've visited Miami several times. Jeff's right. We have over 200 in membership. We have 208 to be exact today. And what that means is they can transfer from city to city, and they don't have to start all over with their vesting credit. So it is kind of a recruiting tool for you. We are a nonprofit group. I think that is so important for you to hear loud and clear. There is no broker-dealer, no middleman making any commissions on these retirement dollars. We were formed in the 60s to make sure that cities and towns across the state of Oklahoma have an economical way to fund for retirement. When we've looked at your administrative fees and your investment fees compared to OMRF, this nonprofit will come true for you, because today, as it stands, you will save about $20,000 in fees annually. And that's not counting if you have any special provisions that you need the actuary or the attorney to approve. We have a power team of individuals. In fact, our power team is very similar to yours, but the good news is you share costs with all the other cities across the state. We also use McAfee and Taft for our legal, and we're very proud of them to be a member of our power team, and we use Dean Actuaries as our actuary. But the glory of that is that you guys won't have to pay for that directly anymore. You will share in the cost with all these other member cities, and that will be in a very big cost savings. The other thing that the city manager pointed out is that you will get out of the trustee business. I think that is huge, especially to those who served on the trustee board. What we do is we have city managers, city clerks, finance directors across the state that are nominated, and they are actually the trustees on this account. Why that is so important for you is they're from cities and towns across the state. They have a vested interest in OMRF succeeding. And they are also very frugal on all of the cities' behalfs because they're spending retirement dollars. So that's why we get that nonprofit price. So that fiduciary role would be completely removed from you. And I think that is a big burden today as it stands. We still would ask you to be co-fiduciary on the administrative duties, but for the most part, we will come out, we will do all the employee education. We will come out if you should so choose to do the early retirement offering and talk to your employees, try to assure them. None of these changes will affect your current retirees. If there's any retirees in the audience, we're here to tell you that you will continue to get your checks on time, directly deposited if you have chosen direct deposit. So nothing changes for the retiree group. For the employee group, almost everything in the plan that we're providing and proposing tonight will be an improvement. And I think that's very important for them to hear. So today, even though we're asking them to put in a little bit more percentage of their payroll to help the city fund the program, it will be on a pre-tax basis. And the actual multiplier in the formula will be slightly higher than the current multiplier. So all in all of the benefits are either equal to your current plan or an improvement. Our rate of return, again, taking that fiduciary role off of you today, you actually have been the investor. You've actually had to make the investment decisions. And over most time periods, our fund has outperformed your fund. And so long term, that will help be a cost benefit to you because that will help reduce your long-term costs over time. Those participant statements, I think this will be another great benefit for the employee group. We're going to provide annual statements, and we're also going to give them a projector where they can go online and do some projections. Sometimes they don't want to talk to their supervisor about when they're thinking about retirement, but they could go out there, do some projections, and they could see how much they could expect in a few years. So there's all kinds of tools that we will bring to the table that you currently do not have. I'll be happy to go over the similarities and differences. We kind of did that in the November meeting. I think you guys are well aware. I have the final information, but I will stand here and answer any questions, or if you want me to go item by item on the proposed joinder agreement, I would be happy to do that. So what is your pleasure?
I was very happy with all the answers to the November questions, Mayor. And I think this is a good deal for the employees.
I do too. I was happy in November.
Great.
Good meeting.
Well, I'm happy that we got a situation that makes this possible. Years past, brought up and talked about, nothing ever done, but some action has been taken. So I'm thankful for that and grateful for all the help that you all have provided in our city council.
I'm going to compliment your staff as well. We have been working on this for a long time coming, and your staff has been so patient, and your attorney and everyone that has kind of gone hand in hand in trying to get this accomplished. So we appreciate you as well.
Any
Okay.
further discussion?
None for me.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Sharbit?
Aye.
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher?
Aye. That has passed. Thank you, Jody.
You're welcome. Now
You
it's
too, John.
2:09.
Okay. Item 10, emergency clause if requested on ordinance amending city retirement system and the joinder agreement, Exhibit A. Jeff?
I'm going to allow the city attorney to handle the emergency clause on this one, but it's the same reason.
It's the same rationale, and that is that there's a lot of money being handled and a lot of transactions being processed, and if we don't get everything in the right order, it's going to hurt the taxpayer and hurt the employees. And so I would ask you to consider passing an emergency clause on that basis.
Make a motion for emergency clause based on the importance of the timeliness of the approval of the ordinance.
I'll second, Mayor.
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman
Or the
Johnson?
joinder agreement, I should say.
Councilman
I'm
Sharbit?
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher?
Aye. All ayes, that has passed. Item 11, resolution by the City of Miami adopting the trust indenture title Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund.
Yes, sir. It's another housekeeping item that furthers this action. This is the, passed out before you is the actual official indenture of their trust, and we have to adopt it by resolution ourselves.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit?
Aye.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher?
Aye. Item 12 has passed. 13, reappointment of Robert M. Anderson to the Airport Board. His term will
We
expire.
missed,
Um,
I'm sorry, Mayor, I think I missed number 12.
The notice of authorized agent form?
Yeah, if, Your Honor, if I may, we probably do need to pull this one because we missed the resolution that went with it.
No.
This one's different?
The appointment of authorized agent is just the city council appointing one of your staff members so that we can coordinate all information through, so you will kind of authorize that person to sign on your behalf.
That'd be you.
I'm assuming that's me.
Mayor, may I
It
ask,
can be anybody that you want to be the signer.
Me or the-
Mayor, may I
Yeah,
go
I'm
back?
sorry.
On item number 11, do we not need an emergency clause? I mean, we had
No,
had it
it's-
on the first two.
no,
so-
sir, it's a
okay,
resolution.
Okay, okay. So then, just on item 12, do we need to
Yeah.
name a person, Mayor? Do you want to?
Yes.
You
I
wanna
would
name-
say so, yes.
Okay.
You wanna name that person, Mayor?
City manager?
Okay, then I would make a motion to to designate the city manager as the authorized agent from the city.
I'll second, Mayor.
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit?
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher?
Aye. So we have a signature, the city manager. Okay, item 13, reappointment of Robert N. Anderson to the Airport Board expires 2/16/16. That's my recommendation to you, gentlemen, for
Motion
the
to,
airport.
motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit?
Aye.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
All ayes.
Okay, Robert M. Anderson has been reappointed. 14, other new business, if any, which has arisen since the posting of the agenda and could not have been anticipated prior to the time of posting, 25 OS 311-9. Any new business?
No, sir.
Item 15, Mayor and City Council community announcements. Any announcements, gentlemen? 16, staff reports. You have written reports in your packet. Do you have any questions on that information?
No, sir.
Mayor,
Yes, go ahead, Rudy.
when do you want to go back to the SUA? Have y'all talked that through? Is that, we want to reconvene that now that we've done all the retirement stuff, or do you want to wait till the end of the? Because I see where we have
Executive.
an executive session, so I don't know if you want to go ahead and wrap up the SUA stuff,
So you'd have to
reconvene.
move to recess, vote,
Yep.
and then reconvene your SUA meeting.
And if you're ready, Mayor, I'll make a motion
Yeah,
to
make a motion,
recess.
please, in a second.
Second.
Okay. Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit?
Aye.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher?
Aye. Okay, we've recessed our city council meeting. We're going back to our special utility authority meeting
Does it need
at
to convene that?
6:47, Jill.
Okay.
You gave her a time, so that works.
Okay, do we need to reconvene?
You effectively just did, Mayor.
Okay,
When
the
you gave,
time?
when you gave a time,
okay.
I took that as an announcement that we were back in session for the SUA.
All right, on the SUA, right. Item 11, ratify council's decision regarding ordinance providing 2013 early retirement program.
Motion to approve, Mayor.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Sharbit?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Chairman Ketcher?
Aye. That is passed. Item 12, ratify council's decision regarding ordinance for amending city retirement system and the joint agreement, Exhibit A.
Motion to approve, Mayor.
I'll second, Mayor.
Trustee Sharbit,
Aye.
Trustee Johnson,
Aye.
Trustee Schultz,
Aye.
Chairman Ketcher,
Aye. That is passed also. Item 12. Item 13, ratify council's decision regarding resolution by the city of Miami adopting the trust indenture title Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund.
Motion to approve.
Second, Mayor.
Trustee Schultz,
Aye.
Trustee Johnson,
Aye.
Trustee Sharbit,
Aye.
Chairman Ketcher,
Aye. All ayes. That is passed. Item 14, ratify council's decision regarding authorized agent from the city Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund notice of authorized agent form.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Trustee Schultz,
Aye.
Trustee Sharbit,
Aye.
Trustee Johnson,
Aye.
Chairman Ketcher,
Aye. 14 is passed. 15, hire an outside counsel to represent the Special Utility Authority and Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, FERC matters. Jeff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, I've placed before you the vita for James B. Vassell, I think that's how you say it, who is a FERC attorney with Davis Wright Tremaine. As you're looking at his background, you can see he's predominantly worked for many public agencies that are engaged in the electric business, and you'll see his resume mentions a number of what are known as PUDs, and those are public utility districts in Washington State, but most of those that are listed own dams on either the Columbia River or the Snake River. And he has a lot of experience working with the FERC process, especially with the relicensing of different hydropower facilities. He also worked to relicense Seattle City Lights, which is the city-owned utility in the city of Seattle, an organization that I once worked for myself. So it is my recommendation tonight that you authorize me to retain James Vassell to represent the Miami Special Utility Authority on FERC-related issues. We have a letter of engagement from him that the city attorney has looked at and said it was okay. And as I had previously mentioned to you in your individual capacity, this will be spendy. His hourly rate is $500 an hour, but it is a very serious issue the city is facing. And it's important for us to get some very serious advice as to the relicensing issue that GRDA will be going through for Pensacola Dam in the very near future.
Sometimes a rate for an attorney, and I think this is true in any business, sometimes the rate is high when you look at the per hour basis, but when you consider the advantage in time and experience, you can often get more work out of that attorney in 1 hour than you could get out of 3 lesser attorneys in 4 hours. It's economical, ultimately.
His total experience dealing with this particular issue exceeds 35 years.
And it's not a blank check. You, of course, have the right to terminate the representation at any time, with or without cause.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Trustee Sharbit,
Aye.
Trustee Schultz,
Aye.
Trustee Johnson,
Aye.
Chairman Ketcher,
Aye. Gentlemen, you realize what we've just done, don't you? We're taking on GRDA, we're taking on FERC. It's time, through the years of floods and floods and floods in our homes and businesses, our tribal lands being flooded, you can't beat these guys political. So we'll go through the court system, let the courts decide it. So that's our action here. And it's been due a long, long time. And of course, you know, we have things pending right now with FERC and GRDA on the rule curve. So this come at a good time, and I want to personally thank Jeff for his interest and as a representative of our city, getting us a good and effective attorney in this matter. So, anything else? Item 16 on the on the special utility is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn, Mayor.
No,
we got
Your
one
Honor, we
more.
had
Or-
a citizen request. Yes, sir.
Okay. Anthony Hayden. Yes, sir. Mr. Hayden, you have 3 minutes to present your agenda item on your purpose here. And the purpose of this agenda item is to provide an opportunity for citizens' comments, such as yours, sir. Trustees will not engage in discussion under this agenda item, and staff members are directed not to also. Response to citizen comments, if any, will occur one of several ways: by a phone call, a personal meeting with you, or posting on the city website. You have the floor, sir.
Right. I received my electric bill. I wasn't aware that our heating and air unit was not hooked up correctly, which ran up a $238 bill in 10 days.
Could you speak into that mic, please?
Sorry. We didn't know it was hooked up wrong, and we just now got it fixed. And it ran up a $238 bill in 10 days. And I was just wanting to know if there's something we could do about that, or something can be done about that, because we just moved in not too long ago and we didn't know about it.
David, you are our legal advisor. You address that, please.
Yes, Mayor. Hello, sir, and thank you for making your presentation. I can follow up on that with the city manager and with staff tomorrow and determine what rules may or may not apply. And I'd be happy to visit with you about it personally.
Okay.
And that's the best I can do for tonight, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir, for appearing before us.
Do you need a number? I get hold of yet?
You'll call the city switchboard in the morning. They'll get you through.
Okay. Okay.
That's my cell phone number. Don't give it to everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, that concludes the Special Utility Authority agenda.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Trustee Sharbit?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Chairman Ketcher?
Aye. We're out of the SUA and we're back into the city council meeting at 6:55. Item 17 is executive session pursuant to 25 OS Section 307B1 for purposes of discussing employment, hiring, appointment, demotion, discipline, or resignation of an individual salaried public officer or employee as city manager pursuant to 25 OS Section 307E. The executive session is authorized. The City Council and Public Utility Board may not go into executive session unless the executive session is authorized by majority vote of a quorum of the members present and the vote is a recorded vote. Neither public body may take any vote or any action on any item of business considered in an executive session except in a public meeting with a vote of each member publicly cast and recorded. What will be discussed is discussion on the employment, hiring, appointment, promotion, demotion, discipline, or resignation of any individual salaried public officer or employee as city manager, to wit, Jeff Bishop, authorized under Title 25 OS Section 307B11. Gentlemen, I need a motion to go into executive session.
Your Honor, if I may, before you entertain that motion, just wanted to remind the audience and the viewers at home that the council now adjourns to another, recesses to another location for executive session so the audience members can stay put. And the video will be rolling live tonight, so viewers at home can tell when we're back in session because these seats will be empty while you're gone, and when you return, they will be filled again. Hopefully all of them.
Motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel.
Second, Mayor.
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit?
Aye.
Mayor Ketcher?
Aye. We are adjourned in executive session. 7:57, 7:38, Jill.
Okay.
And we're into our regular session now. On item 18, adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, Mayor.
Councilman Schultz?
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit? Councilman Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Sharbit? Mayor Ketcher?
Aye. Adjourned.